Hello, everyone. We hope that you're doing well. I am Raymond Sharp, and this is my lovely wife,
Tanesha Sharp.
and we're here to jump
Jump
in.
in.
Today's topic is something that's near and dear to our heart
Yes.
because we have a heart just to help people. And today we're going to speak about ending the trail of suffering. Okay, ending the trail
The
of
trail
suffering.
of suffering.
We don't realize it at times, but when we refuse to grow, when we refuse to improve, when we refuse to even receive help, we're causing ourselves to suffer, and by extension, causing those that we love, those who are close to us, those who care about us and want
Yes.
change for our life. We're causing them to suffer as well. If you can imagine, or maybe you don't have to imagine, but for example, if you have a family member, a loved one that you care about, they may have a substance abuse problem. They may have a behavioral issue. They may need to get some type of counseling, like professional counseling in some regard. And when they don't do that, they don't see the trail of suffering that they're leaving behind. And no matter who you are or where you are in life, we all need help in some regard.
Yes, we do.
And if we're not getting the help that we need, professional or otherwise, or even seeking to us, ourselves and say, okay, let me start working on me in some regard, we're causing other people to suffer. And this can show up in many, many different areas of your life.
Yeah, it's like a repellent. Am I saying it right?
Yeah,
It just pushes people away. And if you find yourself in situations where people don't really want to be around you, or you just find yourself alone all the time, you just push so many people away because of you just not wanting to get it together within yourself. You have to really look at yourself and do something different. You have to really make that commitment to change.
Yeah. I would even go as far as to say, parents, this is something that we have to be aware of. There's been, plenty of examples where people have been in abusive relationships with their parents growing up. And then instead of, finding places to heal and overcome the challenges and even the learned behaviors from that abuse, they perpetuate that same abuse upon their children. There are some people who have been in negative or romantic relationships, and because they had a negative experience with someone, they adopt the mindset, I'm gonna get them before they get me. And you cause the next person to suffer necessarily, and they're paying for what somebody else did. That's another trail of suffering. Another trail of suffering that we participate in sometimes is in employment situations where we stereotype bosses. It's like some people automatically they have a stereotype of their boss just because their boss tells them, hey, can you take care of this, can you take care of that? And too many people say they get on my nerves when they ask me to do stuff when you're really there to work. So it's like, why do we have this negative stigma with work? And it's like, it's a trail of suffering. It's like people have to suffer around you because you come to work and don't want to work. And, you get upset when people start holding you to a standard or holding you accountable for what you're not doing. So we have to really stop and self-examine, like, okay, I'm in the right field. Some people complain about where they are in life, but these are the choices you made. So if you don't like the choices you made, do something different.
Yeah.
You have the ability to say, okay, I'm gonna start working on myself.
The ability to do it.
But it's gonna take work.
Yeah.
No matter what it is. So if you're in a profession you don't like, you might have to go back to school to end your trail of suffering. If you're in a relationship that you're not happy with, you need to have difficult conversations with the person you're in that relationship with to end a trail of suffering. And there's no need for you to complain if you're not going to really do something about your suffering, because at that point, it becomes self-imposed.
Absolutely. And I mean, find someone who's out of that, who may have suffered before in the same area. Find out what they're doing. How did they get out of it?
Yeah.
If you don't know how to get out of it, or if it's not as easy as just going to school, sometimes we're around the people who, we're around people that can't really help us. We don't see a way out through the people that are around us. And I mean, seek out someone or model someone who has gotten out of it and find out what they did. You don't have to suffer. I mean, hopefully what we're saying is going to help, because sometimes it's just literally that simple, is just really examining ourselves. And I don't know why we examine everybody else. We look at everybody else and what they do wrong. But when it comes to us, like, that's something we just don't do. And I don't know why. I mean, I do know why, but it's good for you to examine yourself. And honestly, like, I'm not saying like, I'm saying honestly, really look at yourself, look in the mirror, step out of you for a minute and see, like, what are people around me going through because of this? Like,
so let me challenge you with something.
Go ahead.
So I told my wife one time, and I went to this thing where I kind of wasn't happy with myself.
Mm-hmm.
I would look in the mirror, but I wouldn't look at myself.
Yeah, I've been there too. Yeah.
And I know it sounds crazy.
Mm-hmm. No.
I would look in the mirror, but I wouldn't look at
Mm-hmm.
myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what we're doing. We're looking in the mirror,
Yes. Ah.
but we're not looking at ourselves.
Yes.
And then I was
And we don't want to see certain things about ourselves.
I remember we was out of town, and we was standing in a nice place, and the way the mirrors were made, it was like a compound mirror, where like this part, it was like in the bathroom, it was, because of the way the bathroom was made, it was like it was the mirrors was fly how it was made, but I looked at one mirror angles. And I saw myself from a different angle. I was like, you know what? And I just looked at myself like, you know, I gotta work on this, I gotta work on that, and I really, it put me in a position where I had to see myself. We need to be in position. We need to do things so we can really see ourselves. And I think we're not using the right tools so that we can really see what reflects us. Sometimes we put ourselves around people that we know that we may be doing better than, so we can't see our true reflection.
That's good. Oh, I kind of lost my train
of
thought.
I apologize,
no, it was good. No, go ahead.
No, so I think that's what we need to focus on. Really, is really taking a step back and saying, okay, we all have issues. If I recognize that we all have something that we need to work on, what am I stopping myself from working on with myself? What do I need to do to improve myself? And really, in recognizing your issues, you know, go down everything that you need to work on. Go look at your health. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna just speak personally. I've had some things happen that made me just look at okay, I need to stop this, I need to stop that. It's like, you know, don't allow something to happen.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Go ahead, baby. Go ahead.
That's exactly what I was going to bring out, because I think sometimes, like with the breakup of a relationship, then you know, with something that you didn't realize about yourself, they said, well, you're like this and this and this and that or whatever. They may not have mentioned it during the relationship, but they're feeling bold enough to say it at the end. So, you know, when things happen in those regards, you know, just when people begin to expose, like sometimes that it comes out in arguments and disagreements, stuff that they never felt that they can, not just in a relationship, but in just friendships and period. And I think sometimes when we don't sit back and look at ourselves, it takes that. And it's like, I know for me, I don't want it to take that.
Right.
You know, I don't want it to take that. And so I'm looking at me a lot, and I've talked about it in a lot of other videos, that I focus more on what I need to work on more than you do. Like focus on what you need to work on, because I feel like if I'm focused on me making myself better and you focus on you making yourself better, we just begin to be better for each other. I don't feel like, even though he does, you know, it's okay if he does acknowledge or see something that I need to work on. I receive it because I know that, you know, he may can see something that I can't see. But other than that, you know, I just want him to have to tell me once, you know, I should be able to, like, okay, let me keep working on it until I get it. And, you know, I just feel like we shouldn't have to wait until something big happens.
Right.
If they've told, or if you've heard it even just one time, take that and just like, okay, put that on your list and keep working on it. Don't ignore it. Don't forget it, because it's going to come up somewhere else, either on your job, in another relationship. Like if you don't deal with it, it's never going to go away. And we just wait until something blows up. And then we get mad because they bringing it up again. And like, you know, I know with us, I don't want to have to keep having the same arguments over the same thing. Like, if we had a disagreement about something, we shouldn't be having the same disagreement another year later. Like what happened within us or within me that I'm not even acknowledging it. I'm not even trying.
So let me if you don't mind, cut you off right there. So I think there's a difference between someone working towards something, yes, versus someone showing no action.
Yes, exactly.
There's a big difference, because if I think if someone's working towards something, you have to show them grace as they're working on it. Like, okay, you know, it's kind of like you tell a kid, they just learned the ABCs. It's like, now write me a 5-page paper. They can't do that. Yeah. You know, it's like, you know, you have to say, okay, let me even jump in and help you. Yes. Like, okay, if you wanted to, you know, work on it, I'll help you work towards these goals that are now, you know, I'm invested. This is a shared goal for us, because, you know, this will help me, but at the same time, it's going to help improve you as well. So I think that is a difference
It is a
between.
difference.
I want to make sure that's clear.
Yes.
That not just, well, I don't see the progress I expect to see. Have they made progress?
No, if it's on that list and they're working on it, you have to acknowledge that.
You have to acknowledge
now,
it. Yeah.
Now they may, like I said, and it may even take a couple years until they get it. But just be patient with them because they're working on it.
Yeah.
I'm saying, but just to clarify that, when we're talking about they've told you didn't put it on your list, or you're not even revisiting that again. You're not even checking in and saying, hey, how am I doing in this area?
Mm-hmm.
Are you still suffering because I'm not getting it right? And that shows other people, even not just in your relationship, but it just shows people around you that you are working on yourself to be better, and that you really don't want people to have to suffer around you.
I will also say, don't use a dirty distraction to take light off of what you need to work on.
Explain.
I will
Explain.
I would say, for example, some people in relationship, they use sex as a distraction.
Especially before marriage.
I need to work on before, even after.
Even after marriage,
you need to work on something, right? And it's like, okay, I would like for you to work on this and this and this, and okay, babe, I'm gonna work on it. And it's like they bamboozle you with that. Some people like to use the dirty distraction of pointing out everything you're not doing.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I would like for you to work on this and this and this. Well, since we talking about working on stuff, when you gonna do the
yeah, that's true. That's
dirty,
not.
It's like
that is true.
When if you find yourself trying, if that's your false impulse, it's like, hey, can I talk to you about a few things? Just say, okay, make it about you and what they're saying about you. Don't even go to, well, you need to work on this too, because you're devaluing what they're saying. And sometimes people just use that as a distraction and say, your issues are worse than mine. And if, unless you all are saying, okay, well, do you mind if I share a few things? And if they say, no, I want to focus on you, you have to eat that.
And then sometimes, how about this? Let's just, in those moments, it's okay to just focus on you. Let's hold back all the other stuff, because I think sometimes the whole it becomes just you end up missing what you really are there to talk about.
Yeah.
And the other person, it just feels like nothing was resolved because all you did was push it back on me and what I'm not doing right. But I would say it's okay to just hold back what you feel at that moment and just make it about, okay, you're right, and just owning up to what you need to work on. But that's good.
Yeah, another dirty distraction is bringing up. Sometimes people put pressure, especially in relationships. They'll be like, okay, for example, I want to take a trip. Well, right now we're saving. Oh, when I was so and so, I have to worry about.
Oh, wow.
Just to get what they want. It's like, I'm going to put pressure on you. Yes, that's a dirty distraction. It's like, you don't see these goals. You just want what you want. So you apply like the history, or, when I was growing up, we was always able to do this. My parents just did it for us. Blah, 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 blah. Without saying, okay, it's another dirty distraction. To just so I can get what I want. To throw you off the scent.
That's good.
Yeah, so we have to be careful with those distractions.
That's good. The only reason why I was talking about the before having sex before marriage. When you're having sex before marriage and stuff like that, or when you're just dating. I remember sometimes it just clouds your vision. You can't even make sometimes you would even think, for at least us women, we would think that the man really is falling in love with us. We think more of it than what it is, because it's like he's trying to distract us from just say, for instance, if you always bring it up being in a relationship. What?
No, that's true.
But no, I'm serious.
Go ahead.
You bring it up being in a relationship, and you're like, I'm feeling you, girl. Da 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 da, and then he just start rousing that, and kissing all over you.
Putting that razzle dazzle on you.
Yeah, kissing all over you, and then all this passion comes in with being intimate with that person. And then you're like, when it's all said and done, you're like, okay, well, maybe we are further along than what we, never once did he say anything.
Didn't commit to nothing.
He didn't commit to anything. And it was a distraction. I believe guys do that.
I believe girls do that too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think, and so that's what I mean about that, because sometimes it just really clouds. And so you're so confused. You don't know what y'all are. That's why I think.
What are we now?
For the fact that you have to keep asking that, I remember going through that, and I'm laughing now, but I'm not laughing at anybody that's going through it, because trust me, I have been through that. And where are we now? And it was just like everything was just done just completely out of order, and I'm glad that I'm out of that. thank God I'm married and I'm out of that. But for a season, I remember that, and it's a distraction. It's like they don't want to address the elephant in the room. And be careful with that, ladies. Like,
Yeah.
Because sex really just complicates things. It really does. It really, really does. When you just, it just really confuses so many. I know for me it did.
Yeah.
And I know I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna leave it there. But yeah. So that's a dirty distraction.
It is a dirty distraction.
Men and women. How women? What women do that too?
Yeah. Man,
Here, come back in the video a little bit
more.
Oh,
okay. No, I'm thinking, and I don't want to think too far back, but yeah, there's a lot of things I can say.
Oh, yeah, I think I can remember some stuff.
Yeah, that to me, I feel like, when you bring up certain things that sometimes women use to distract men with food. Women that can cook and know they can cook, they will use food as a dirty distraction.
You want to come over and get something to eat?
Come over here and get something to eat.
And then when you come over there,
And this is another dirty distraction. Yeah. If someone, if you're in a relationship and someone, expresses, hey, look, I would like for you to work, if you want this relationship to continue, this is some of the things I feel like you need to work on. And one of the biggest things they do is like, oh, you're not going to get rid of me because you're going to miss this. You're going to miss that. They're going to tell you everything that they're going to miss about them without improving. The conversation is nothing about them improving. It's like, oh, you're going to miss this, or you're going to miss that, and who's going to do this for you, who's going to do that for you.
So they can get out of the
hole. So they can get out of improving themselves to make themselves better. That's selfish.
Or improve themselves just for like a month or two, and then going back and just,
Yeah. Again, consistency.
Or doing it until we get the ring, until we get engaged.
Ooh, child.
And then,
listen. So let's talk about that for a second. No. I'm not saying
listen, can we do a part two?
We're going to do a part two
We're
of this video.
We're going to do a part two because this video is...
Okay.
All right. So join us for the next video.
All right.
We're going to go back into it.
Yeah. So once again, I'm Raymond Sharp.
And I'm Tanesha Sharp.
And we're here to...
Jump in.
Join us for
part
two. Join us for part two.
All right. Bye.